Back together. That's something to check there. Like I say, if your pilot light assembly's rusted and looking bad, just replace it. You know, I've seen them last 15, 20 years, it seems like. Let me reattach this. Sometimes a guy will let a heater, he knows it's leaking, he just keeps using it. It might be a small leak. It'll cause the whole burner ring to rust out premature and pilot light assembly to rust out premature. I've seen lots of guys run these heaters for years knowing that they were leaking. The only way to really damage one of these heaters is to let it freeze anyway. Okay. Let's see if we can get that back in there. Okay. Got that turned back up. And I'm going to reattach right here on the union. Pretty easy. Alright. I'm not going to spend all day putting these screws back in here. I'll do one. This video's not so long. Y'all know how to put screws back in a hole. I know. Let's see. Okay, I'll just put one back in. Shorten some time. Okay. Alright, hold on one second here. Alright, let's tighten this back up here. Like I said, I'll probably make us another video that's not so long. A little more specific on exactly what to do, but I'm just playing around with the camera right now. Okay. Now we're going to reattach this. So just run that back in there and make sure you use your line wrench to reattach that. This is the part that's very tricky. Remember, make sure you don't cross thread it. See, it'll just go right back in. Reattach the striker. Now a lot of times these strikers get to where they don't work, and don't worry about it. I mean, sometimes they'll last a while, sometimes they won't. We always suggest having a backup ignition system for it. And let's see. Here they are. I know you've all probably seen these. We suggest to get these like at Eckerd's and charcoal lighter, and you can actually you can light it with this. It's a good way of doing it. Let's see here. So anyway, tighten that back up. Reattach the screws down there. And let me check my PowerPoints again. I'll make us another video nicer than this one. Let's just see what I had here. Alright. Okay, we went over the setting. Remember, this is not really what you want to adjust the heat with. I mean, it's a high limit shutdown. Spike is what it is. And so, but it will turn the heat down, you know. But it's really, because we're not circulating water, because cold water is coming in, hitting the thermostat at all times, is the difference than when it was in a baptism pool, because the water returning would get hot. And then this would be warm, very, you know. I was trying to get these letters taken off these for us, for the carpet cleaning industry. Now, one thing you will have to do, in the summertime and the wintertime, you're going to set this at different positions. In the summertime, you're going to have to turn this up a little more. In the wintertime, because the outside temperature affects the coil inside there, the temperature coil, you have to turn it down a little bit. So there is adjustment there. It starts spiking a little bit. You know, you say you want to run the thing at 210 and it's spiking to 220. You just turn this down a little bit. And that's just a little bit of adjustment between winter and summertime that you do on the heater. So let me see here. So we went over. Remember, if you mess with this, I don't suggest it. Normally you won't have to that often. I want you to make sure that this has cold water in this heater at all times. And don't turn it past clicking off at 70. If you're trying to get a little bit more performance out of this heater, you need to call me and talk to me, because there's, like I say, gas lines and jetting we do with the wand and stuff like that. We're going to get the heat up on the heater without modifying this thermostat. Now Judson, these heaters have absolutely proven themselves. They absolutely have proven themselves. I mean, we got heaters that's 25 years old. They're still running original heaters. Now the only way that I know that you can actually damage these heaters or tear them up is if you put too much pressure on them. Well, we put a relief valve on the back of it for that purpose. And basically the only way you can really tear this heater up that I remember was let it freeze. Now if you let it freeze and bust the coil, you will have to, normally 90% of the chance of time you're going to have to replace the coil. But sometimes you can repair these coils if you can get to where it's ruptured. And if you have it repaired, let's say you take the coil out, I'll make us another video on actually how to get the coil out of this thing. It needs to be 20% silver solder. I talked with Rex today at Little Giant. He said, I want to make sure I mentioned to y'all, 20% silver solder. Do not have anybody braze these coils, because the brazing will weaken the copper. Rex said that, you know, just buy a new coil and then have the old coil repaired and have a spare. You could do that. If you decide to go with a repaired coil, you got to remember that when it ruptured this heater, it stretched that coil from a 3/4 inch to a 1 inch diameter pipe. So the wall thickness of the tubes inside there are thinner, and that's why it weakens the whole coil. But sometimes, because we're going to run them around 400 or 500 psi, it will hold up. Sometimes it won't. So normally we just replace the coils. Trying to think what else I can talk about before I leave. Oh, one other thing. Right here's a drain plug. So let's just say that, you know, you can't protect your truck mount. Well, we know we put antifreeze on the truck mount. What we'll do is you can actually drain water out of this heater right there. At least you don't have to worry about busting the coil. You can do that. That's what that is there. I want to mention that. But anyway, that's the basic maintenance. It's not that much to it of the heater. Just make sure you get your few tools there you need to get from Lowe's. And like I said, I'll probably make us a little bit better video on this later on, but I just wanted to get some.